Hello and welcome to the ETOF 21 Sports Podcast. I'm Eric, the man behind ETOF 21 Sports, coming at you Monday night at the end of this Texans-Saints game. Texans just punted away the ball, and we are sitting on Texas plus 6.5, and plus the 248 money line. We already hit the first half under a 26, and we hit a nice juicy prop of plus 334 that Watson would score a TD, which was money. So, before I jump into the betting stuff from the past weekend, my thoughts of what I saw from watching the games, I just want to touch on this AB thing for a second. He was at the Steelers, which is a world-class organization, a good organization, and he went to the Raiders. What do you think happened? He wants to win a championship, I think. He saw how they were ran. He saw what they had. He saw how the front office, how stuff behind the scenes was. And I think just the combination of that, the helmet thing, the fine, he just finally just pushed it to a limit. He got in it with Mayock, and he was just done. That's what I think happened. I think it was just a combination of everything that just pushed him over the edge. He's like, look, I've been with the Steelers. I know how a franchise is supposed to be ran, and I come in here, and this is a complete shit show. And he forced his hand by hiring that social media expert, and now he's with the Patriots, and the Patriots got Flash and AB and Edelman work in the middle. And they have all those running backs, Burkhead, White, Michelle, that rookie Harrison. They got some dudes, man. Right now, take a look at the Patriots schedule. Tell me when the Patriots aren't going to be a double-digit favorite. When? When will they not be a double-digit favorite? They just beat the Steelers 33-3. Looking at their schedule, maybe at the Ravens on the week 9, at home against the Browns, at the Eagles on the 17th, the Chiefs game. But I mean, those are probably the only games when they're not laying double digits. They're going to be insanely overvalued. They're already at 17. They're already at 17 on the road. 17 on the road at Miami. That's just an insane number to me. Insane that many people are betting that number. I would never bet that number. I love taking home dogs, and I am going to have to try my hardest not to take Miami. But I wonder how high that number is going to get. Okay, so just a reminder. Let's dive into the betting right now. But before we get into that, just a reminder. This is what I do for a living. I'm not one of those guys that, I want to bet this. No. My life is I basically work out and pick winners. And I'm working out, I'm listening to stuff, trying to get as much information and stuff as I can. I have spreadsheets, I have rules, I have lists for stuff for betting, and that's what I do. And don't say I bet a team. I never bet a team. I bet a number. And I understand numbers, I think, really well. So I bet the number, I bet the situation, then I have a million other things I look at. And that's what I do. All right, let's dive into what I learned from the weekend and some of the bets I made and where I was right, where I was wrong. First bet, awful. Dolphins plus 7.5. That is one of the most pathetic performances I've seen in my life. They went out there, and it didn't even look like they wanted to be there, wanted to win. This is the National Football League. You know how many people are sitting at their house right now that would die to be out there playing football, and that's the effort you give? I get it, you want to get a high draft pick and whatever, but that was just embarrassing. And now you get reports that people are on the team want to be traded. They just want to get the hell out of there, and they're having their agents calling to be traded, demanding to be traded. That's embarrassing. That is an embarrassment that they're playing national football, and that's what you get. I mean, I was completely wrong. I'll be the first one to admit it. That was awful. We had the Titans plus the 6.5, and then we also had the money line. And the thing is, with that, you look at Baker Mayfield when he played good defenses last year, what his completion percentage was, 57%. How many TDs he had? 7. How many INTs he had? 10. That was one factor. Against a better defense, he wasn't putting up these superstar numbers that everyone was talking about. Number 2, their offensive line, and that was a big one for me. I question this offensive line a lot. A lot. And that's why me and my guys, we have the bet that they won't make the playoffs. Because you have to be able to protect. And anyone watching that game will see how bad their offensive line played. And that's going to be a huge question moving forward. If they don't shore up that blocking scheme, keep it back in, keep a tight end in, Mayfield's not going to have time. Granted, they have Beckham and Landry, but who else do they have after that? Who else? What other wide receiver do you have faith? They're just like the Chargers. They're an injury away on the wide receiver front just to be signing some guy from the streets. So don't get me wrong, they got some talent, but there's a lot of holes that were easily seen that people and the media are forgetting. And yeah, I know there's been a lot of good teams that have lost early on. It's a week-to-week league. I get it. Like I said, I bet for a living. So I understand this stuff pretty good. I don't mean to sound cocky, but I understand the numbers and the betting and all that stuff pretty good. But my thing is this. Those other teams, they had a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a Super Bowl winning coach. This team has Freddie Kitchens and Baker Mayfield. And I'm from the school. I don't trust you to do something until you show me you can do something. So those guys need to show me they can do something before I trust them. Freddie Kitchens, there's a reason this is your first head coaching job. And then the Titans run the ball. Mariota's not going to make silly mistakes for the most part. And their defense plays tight. So I just felt that you figure in that stuff, and plus they're going to be pumped up saying, hey, the Browns this, Browns that. That's bulletin board material. So all those factors, plus the other stuff I'm not going to dive into, told me the Titans were the play. And I cashed. We also had the Colts, and I will say this. Colts are not that bad. People wrote them off when Luck retired, but Jacoby Brissett, he's a capable backup, and he's going to come in there, and if I can find a Colts to make the playoffs at juicy odds, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to have to fire away on that. I'll give that away as a free play. If you can find the Colts to make the playoffs at juicy odds, you take that. Because their defense, they can run the ball, and Brissett's not going to turn over the ball over. He's a very capable quarterback. He's not at the same level as Luck, but he can lead them to the playoffs, especially in the AFC South now. So they could make the playoffs, and it's a good bet that if you look into that. The biggest disappointment of the weekend for me by far was the Detroit Lions. I am a huge Lions fan. Anyone that knows me knows I grew up in Michigan, knows I bleed the Lions blue, and oh my God, that was the disappointment of disappointments. To be up that much on the road and to simply tie, I was so excited for the season. I was like, hey, they have a defensive line, secondaries improved. This defense is going to be a lot better than people give them credit for. Offense, Stanford finally has an OC. But because of coaching, because of playing not to lose, we lost that game. And then you take that time out. You got to trust Matt Stafford. He is 31 years old, but an all-pro, and he is the leader of that team. He wants to bring a title to the D so much. And you get these coaches around him that are just imbeciles. And it's going to be sad because they're going to do what they did to Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders to Stafford, another wasted talent. And it is so frustrating seeing that talent being wasted. I was on the Giants plus 4.5 for the first half, and you know what? Cowboys are good. Cowboys are a lot better than I thought they were. I thought Garrett was going to rope more in, not let him call the plays, not let him design the plays, kind of limit the stuff and keep it kind of generic. But oh my God, the play design, the execution was insane. It was great. I am extremely high, and it hurts me to say, on the Dallas Cowboys after week 1. And I get it's a week-to-week league, and I'll be changing my rankings and what I think of people. But right now, after week 1, I can see the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie. With that defense and that play calling, I can totally see that. A team I'm a little down on, even though they won, were the Eagles. Eagles back 4 I've never been high on, and oh my God, it showed. They gave up that many points to the Washington Redskins and Case Keenum. That back 4 is not looking good, and I'll say it. Eagles finally got a D front with Jackson, and granted with Wallace getting hurt, that hurt him last year. But oh my God, if they didn't have D-Jack, that would have been an L. He opened it up, and Wentz didn't look that good for the first half. Granted, he's coming back from an injury, but everyone's high on people on Wentz, and I'm not gonna lie, I am not as high on him right now, as others are. Now, granted, he could get better. He was very impressive his first year, but right now, a little worrisome for Wentz. I'm not gonna lie, a little worrisome for Wentz in my eyes, and for that team on that back 4. Also, let me say this about the Patriots and the Steeler game. I wish I would have took Mike Tomlin as first coach fired. Steelers could be a long year. The big thing when you go from being the 2 guy to the 1 guy is you're the guy now that people scheme for. You're the guy now that draws the top DB. How is Juju going to take that? That's my question. Is he going to be able to handle that? I don't know. And now that he's hurt, now it's going to bump everybody up. And you don't have AB now. I don't know. Steelers are a team I'm a little down on too. Also, the Bucks and 49ers game could be the weirdest game I've ever seen in my life. All those penalties, all those scores took off the board. It was just one of the weirdest games you're ever going to see in my eyes. I am so disappointed. I really thought Winston was going to come out and show some improvement, but he still makes silly mistakes, throws in windows that aren't there. That last INT that lost the game was one of the worst passes of the weekend. Really disappointed in that. And let's face it, if he doesn't make it this year, he's done. He's backup city, and, Bucks are going to have to start over. And it's kind of crazy. You remember when Mariota and Winston were drafted 1-2 and everyone was going back and forth? If the Titans and Bucks don't make the playoffs this year, it is very feasible that both teams will go in a different direction. And that's crazy to me that they're gonna could go in different directions after the hype around those two. Now, let me talk about the last thing. Dalvin Cook. Boy, was I high on Dalvin Cook. And that zone blocking scheme looked great. The Vikings' run game looked great. Offensive line improved. Oh my God. They looked insane. Okay, so if you're interested in my picks or want to become part of the team, I have daily, weekly, monthly packages available. I'm not going to lie, I'm only going to be taking a couple more people. I don't want to overextend myself. I'm not selling picks to make money. Again, I'm selling picks to help you guys. So reach out because I'm only going to be accepting a couple more people to join the team. After that, unfortunately, I'm going to be full until college basketball and NBA season start. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, great. If not, no worries. Good luck the rest of the week with your picks. I'll be back on Thursday.